What's going on YouTube? This is Zach, and today we are talking about InfoSec cybersecurity. Recently been asked quite a few times since putting out a few videos, a few of the interview videos. You know, how do you get into the field? What do I need to know? Things like that. And maybe they haven't watched the videos. Maybe they have. Either way, today we're just saying, so you want to work in InfoSec or cybersecurity, you know, right along the same lines there. You want to work in one of those fields, you know, what do you need to know? What I can tell you right now is I would strongly suggest looking at the three interview videos that I've done already, because that'll give you kind of a broad, generalized idea, if you will, on what you need to know. And I have more interviews coming out. There's like 2 more coming. I have to edit those still. And those ones are actually, I think, a lot more informative than a few of the ones that I've done already. The interview that I did with Keith Hoodlet, which is the last interview that I did at InfoSec World, that is probably the best one that you can watch right now, because he has a lot of great information there. But today I want to give you my thoughts and opinions, again, since so many people keep asking me, on getting into InfoSec, getting into cybersecurity. What is it that you specifically need to know? And the answer is nothing. Like, really, nothing. There's so many people that I talked to at this conference that just said, I got into InfoSec haphazardly, basically. I was working sales, or, you know, I talked about this before already. I've already touched on this, but I won't touch on the same thing that I use every single time. But, you know, you can be in sales and get into cybersecurity. You can get into the security field. Basically, it really helps if you know people. If you know people, it's super easy, right? You can also learn on your own. That's one of the biggest suggestions. Learn on your own, right? Learn some of the technologies around cybersecurity that would greatly benefit you. So there's lots of programming, of course, that can greatly help you. Development, any type of, you know, like even web development. Having a background in something like that can greatly help you as well. What's up? Sorry, I got kids home today. So anyway, yeah, web development definitely greatly helps. 2 of the people that I interviewed talked about that and touched on how just having that kind of experience will help you. I talked to one guy there who he was doing WordPress sites. He found a vulnerability in a WordPress plugin, and he reported it. He got paid for it, and that literally launched his career from there. So if you guys are interested in, you know, finding faults in things, you guys are interested in looking at things from a different angle and trying to find faults, trying to find... Oh my goodness. I bet the audio is really low. Take him upstairs. Yeah, sorry. I had the mic pushed away from me, and then the baby screaming. So that's my fault. That's my bad. So anyway, yeah, working in cybersecurity, InfoSec. You know what? Let me restart this stream so that the audio is good from the get-go, because I have to use this. I'm using this audio also for the podcast, so I'm gonna stop this and start it real quick. So I apologize. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm going to restart this stream so that I can put this out on a podcast. Today I want to talk about how you can get into InfoSec and cybersecurity. And the number one thing that I really wanted to touch on before anything, because people keep asking me, like literally all weekend long, I was getting messages about how you can get into cybersecurity, right? I just put out like 3 interviews that I did at InfoSec World. And very valuable information there. They give you lots of different backgrounds on how, these people got into the field and what, you should know to get into the field. And I have 2 more interviews coming up. One with a gentleman named Clint Gibbler. Awesome interview. Probably, quite honestly, the best interview that I did at the entire conference, really. Because he provided so much information and trying to get people into the field, right? He relayed basically what some of the careers are and what you do in those specific jobs, which was really, really awesome. And then he, of course, provided like what he did, again, and how he got there. Again, very valuable information. I have to edit that video still. I'll put it out. But the 3 videos that I have out right now, I strongly suggest people watch those. The link's in the description. You guys can go and check that out. Now I'm all like flustered because the live stream, the first one I did, got all screwed up. That's all right. That happens. Life happens, right? Anyways, I'm sharing my feedback on what I know getting into the InfoSec world, right? It's not something that I'm an expert in. The whole reason why I went to the InfoSec World Conference was so that I could talk to the experts and get their opinions and get their thoughts. And they could tell me what, they did to get in the field and what advice that they would give. So that was the whole reason why I went there. And I talked to a lot of people. I didn't interview every single one of them, but I talked to a lot of people. And, I'd ask them because it would get brought up. They'd look at my name tag thing and they'd say, what are you doing here? I'm like, well, I do this YouTube channel where I try to help people. The YouTube channel is called IT Career Questions. I try to help people who are looking to get into the IT field. I said, one of the biggest questions I always get, how do I get into cybersecurity? So that's why I'm here, to get people's input. And I talked just recently, I said this one before, but talked to this young kid, 22, 23 years old, found a WordPress vulnerability because he was doing WordPress websites. He reported it, he got paid for it, and then that launched his cybersecurity InfoSec career, right? That's the type of mentality that security firms, security teams are looking for, is people who kind of will go out of their way to look for things that don't work correctly, right? They try to break things. They try to, see if they did a specific step one way, it works, but then they tried it another way, it didn't work. It's all about thinking outside the box. And that's the interview that I did with Clint Gibbler. That's kind of what we touched on that. And it was so awesome because I'm the type of person who loves to think outside the box, who loves to try to think of every possible scenario that could happen in both, a business environment, at home for people, things like that. What kind of things could go wrong? What could I do to prevent that? What could I do to fix that? And that was like one big thing that I kind of got from everybody, is you have to kind of have that mentality in the cyber world, in the cybersecurity field, in that world, of how you're looking to break and fix things. So lots of it's not necessarily you're troubleshooting anything, because you're not necessarily working with tech all the time. You're not working with hardware all the time in a lot of these jobs. There's firms out there that get hired to hack people's environments, and that is such a cool thing. Like, that is crazy. Not only that, they get hired to hack their environment to see if they can get in from the outside, to find all the vulnerabilities, which that is totally awesome. They also have firms out there who try to hack essentially applications, right? They try to break the applications, try to find whatever they can wrong with it, and report the vulnerabilities to the company so that they can fix them. It's just insane. A lot of the different areas in security that I wasn't necessarily aware of or fully aware of, and I got so much information from being there. So I'm really excited about the interviews that I've already done. I'm even more excited about the interviews that I'm going to put out, especially, again, the one with Clint Gibbler. Best interview I did the entire time at InfoSec World. And then the next best would be Keith Hoodlet. I put that one out Saturday, and that one, definitely really good information there. And he is part of a podcast called Security Weekly, and you guys can go check that out. I know in that video I put the links to like Keith's website and Security Weekly. I strongly suggest, if you guys are looking to get into InfoSec, go to Security Weekly, securityweekly.com. Check out their podcast. They have videos even. They live stream quite often. They have lots of great information, right? They have lots of useful information there. And even if you don't necessarily understand what they're talking about right now, because you guys are just looking to get into this field, having that knowledge, just kind of following along with them, seeing what experts are saying about different vulnerabilities, different things you can do to keep yourself secure. They even, they were talking, the stream that I was watching the other day, how they secure their home environment. And they did a video on that, or podcast on that. I didn't check it out yet, but what they talked about, what they touched on just in this podcast I was watching was very, very informative. So just as far as securing your own home environment and the things that they actually do to secure their environment, it's just crazy. It's crazy what people do to secure themselves, right? And it's interesting to see how real professionals who are in the security field secure their stuff, their environment, their home environment. They each had their own firewall, and then they had different things programmed for that, and they had their own switches, and the way that they routed things and all that was just insane. It was really, really cool. But anyway, check out securityweekly.com. I will put a link in the description of this video because I forgot to do that. So in a second, you guys can refresh this and you'll see it. I'll also put this in the chat. securityweekly.com. Great resource for security. There's the chat. I'm not paying attention to the chat right now, so please forgive me. We will do that here in a little bit. Once I get this interview published with Clint Gibbler, I'm going to promote the heck out of that. I am literally going to push the heck out of that video because that was, again, the best video that I did. More information on there than I would ever have imagined than I would have got from anybody. But the cool thing is, the best thing that I've seen, everybody who's involved in the cybersecurity field that I've talked to, the nicest people I think I've ever met, and every single one of them was willing to share their opinions, share their thoughts, give advice, whether I did an interview with them or not. It was really refreshing to see that. And Clint, in this video, he touched on that. He talked on that. He said how he felt that same way. He says, everybody in the cybersecurity field, everybody in InfoSec, whatever terminology you want to use for this, is probably the most friendly. And I definitely got that vibe from going to InfoSec World, which was really cool because I've worked in this field for a very long time, and I just work with people who don't want anything to do with you necessarily. And it's just because that's the way that they are. It's not because I'm not a cool guy or I'm an idiot. It's just because they're just awkward, right? And they just don't care about anything. So they're jerks. And you guys will run across these type of people. If you're not in the field yet, you'll run across them. If you are in the field, you probably have run across these people where they don't share any information. They give you absolutely nothing. And the great thing about the InfoSec field is it's based around information, right? It's based around sharing information and helping others. That's one big thing about that field. You are helping people, right? and you're sharing information with other people so other people can help people as well. So it's really awesome to see that. That makes me really happy, just based on, you know, my past experience with people just being unapproachable, and it's unfortunate. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to touch on. Again, stay tuned for the interview that I did with Clint. Check out the interview that I did with Keith. Check out Security Weekly. Links in the description, links in the chat. That's going to be a probably invaluable resource for you going to Security Weekly. And the other thing that I'll kind of touch on, and it's not confirmed yet, I have to give these guys a date and a time. I have to get on their schedule, but I will actually be doing an interview with Paul from Security Weekly. Paul is the he's basically the main host. He's the owner. He's the president, whatever you want to call him, CEO of Security Weekly, and I will be doing an interview with him on IT career questions. So just have to confirm that date, but if you guys have questions for that interview, you guys can hit me up. Leave a comment to this video, hit me up via email. That's going to be your best route, is emailing me any questions that you might have for Paul from Security Weekly, because I'm super excited. I'm super stoked for that interview. I didn't even want to really touch on that, but it will be happening once I give them a date. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But check out Security Weekly anyway, regardless of me doing an interview with them, because great information. So anyway, let's go to the chat and see what's going on here, because I have not paid attention at all to the chat. Somebody says my mic is extra low. I thought I fixed that. But we could take a look. Wow. Not audible. Did we not get any audio in there? Because that would be terrible. It'd be terrible if I got no audio. Let's see. Which is the last interview that I did at InfoSec World. No, it looks like there's audio. Looks like there's audio. Anyway, yeah, I just fixed the mic apparently, because somebody said it wasn't audible. But checking the chat. So hello everybody in the chat, and how are you guys doing today? I hope everybody's doing awesome. How to get experience in cybersecurity? Well, that is one question that I asked to every single person, and everybody had a different answer for that question. There's so many different ways to get experience in the cybersecurity field, and a lot of them just strongly suggested doing things on your own and trying to learn that way. So you guys can, you know, go the certification routes. Keith Hoodlet, there's links in the description to that video on books and stuff that you guys can read that will kind of give you a lot of background, a lot of information, things that you can study for and stuff like that. But as far as getting the experience, every single person said something different, because every single person I talked to, I feel like, started in the field in a different way than the previous person, right? Again, somebody was in sales, a guy was a fisherman, a few people were just, you know, like techs or sysadmins, network admins, things like that, and that's how they branched out over to the security field, just because they were really interested in whatever it was that they were doing at the time in security, and they just launched their career from there. So it's really difficult to tell somebody how you can get experience when I've asked so many people and every single one has a different story. So they're not necessarily a good answer, but the best answer is try to learn on your own. Try to study everything that you can. Read whatever books that you can related to the precise area in security that you want to get into. Puff on that beats. What's going on? I see you here often. WordPress is the Mariana Trench of vulnerabilities. That is so true. That's so true. The plugins are the worst, for sure. WordPress, just in general, is lacking. But everybody uses it. I use it because it's freaking easy. And it'll probably get hacked one day. And that's my own fault. It's definitely my own fault. Let's see. Work experience interviews are virtually impossible to find. I don't know about that. There's lots of opportunities out there. I mean, seriously, there's so many opportunities out there. James, what's going on, James? How you doing today, sir? One key skill you're going to need to know to work in security is the CIA triad. Learn and talk about the fundamentals. That's an easy way to show you're interested in IT. Yep, that's definitely good advice. RGB swag. Do I need CCNA security certification? You would need the CCNA security cert if you are looking to get into the networking portion of security. Yes. Any book I can suggest, there's books linked in the video with Keith Hoodlet. Check out those books. And I know coming up I'll have more book recommendations from the interview that I did with Clint at InfoSec World. Let's see. Second, learn the fundamentals of web development. Learn the fundamentals of Linux, PowerShell, and Python. So yeah. So these skills right here that James touches on are definitely great for somebody who's looking to be in more of the tech side of the security field, for sure. A few of the people that I talked to who weren't necessarily on the tech side, where they were involved with getting into Linux, using PowerShell often, they're purely based on programming, right? That's all that they did. So Python and PowerShell definitely can help depending on which part of the field that you're in, but they didn't use PowerShell. They had experience with Python, but they were definitely involved with other programming languages, Java and all that stuff. I'd have to, when this other video comes out, that's all I can keep saying. Like, that was my favorite video. There's so much stuff there. I'm trying to think of like everything that was said throughout the week, and putting me on the spot, I just like get overwhelmed because there was so much stuff. There's so much information I got from being at InfoSec World. So I try to give you guys everything that I can, but we'll see. Let me think about that one a little bit more, because I know there was more stuff that they wanted. CompTIA has IT infrastructure and cybersecurity, two great options. Is possible to do both? Is it possible to do both? You could. You definitely could. It seems to me that all these IT career channels place experience as king. What other IT career channels are there? Because I would love to see them. I would love to find out what other channels are out there that are like mine. But yes, experience is king, for sure. Everybody loves experience. Experience, especially nowadays, right? And everybody's going to like disagree. Not everybody. A lot of people are going to disagree. A lot of people will agree. But experience is huge. It shows that you've been in the field, that you know what you're doing in business environments, because that's important. You know, when you first get out of college, you have no idea how a business environment works unless you've interned or did some type of volunteer work. You have no idea. So having lots of experience is always a great thing. But I don't really want to touch on that completely, because I have lots of different opinions and thoughts on that. Does the Army, Navy, whatever armed forces branch have good cybersecurity and IT jobs generally? Yes. From everybody I talk to, yes, they do. So there's that. Yeah, they generally do. A few people I talked to actually got out of the military, went into security. One of them was from Malwarebytes. A guy named Cody Mercer. I did an interview with him, and that will be coming out hopefully this week. And he can definitely touch on security, cybersecurity from the military, then leaving the military to go and work many different jobs, and now he's at Malwarebytes. I forget what his title was. So he was presenting at InfoSec World, but yeah, got a chance to sit down with him, and he talked about, oh god, with cryptography, I think, and some other things that he was doing. So great information there. Let's see. Do I think cloud computing and security is one of the best certifications to take now? Absolutely. I did keep talking about interviews today. It's crazy. But I have an interview coming out with, let's see. Who was it? Maybe Wes? No, not Wes. Yeah, Wes from IT Pro TV. And I believe he touched on cloud computing and how important that was. And a lot of people will tell you how important cloud computing is right now, because it's just growing tremendously. So a lot of people are looking for people who are knowledgeable about the cloud. So AWS, great place to start. Azure, that's another platform, tool, applicate, whatever. Looking at too many things right now and can't talk. But Azure is a great thing to learn also. Let's see. Joe says, packet pushers definitely say experience and generalists are more in demand than specialists. Nowadays, with the environment changing frequently, you need to have a good understanding of a lot of technologies. Absolutely. There's so much out there. And there's so much that actually gets tied into one another that, you know, you wouldn't necessarily think about until you start getting into the field and how these things work with each other. But having a good understanding of everything really is key. Do you need vetting background checks for private cybersecurity companies? It depends on the company. Not every single one, I would imagine, is going to have some elaborate background check. But they all typically will do a background check. Every job that I think I've ever worked for has done a background check. You know, and that's just running like your criminal record and things like that. As far as going like super nuclear into your background and vetting you, that would depend on the company that you're going to work for. And they might do things completely differently. So you just have to see what the requirements they have and what it is that they're actually going to look into, because they typically will give you some indication on what they are looking for sometimes. So anyway, kind of touched on what I wanted to for this live stream, even though like the first one broke and that made me very upset. Answered some of your questions, and I have a video coming out today. Let's see. It just finished uploading, which is excellent. And I need to create a thumbnail for it, and I think that's it. As soon as I create a thumbnail for it, I will have that uploaded tonight, probably around 9 o'clock Central Time, between 9 and 10 Central Time. And that video is called Side Hustle Tips for Nerds that will make you extra money. So going over a few different things that you guys can utilize, being a nerd, being in IT, that you can do to make extra money. Because, again, that was a question that I received. That was like an AMA type of question, ask me anything. Somebody wanted me to do a video on it, so I did a video on it. I do that often. If people ask me a question and say, hey Zach, can you do a video on this? I'll do a video on it. I love doing that stuff. So anyway, this was just a kind of a quick live stream that I wanted to do. 25 minutes so far, so perfect timing. Again, I got kids here, so touched on what I needed to. You guys go check out securityweekly.com. Check out the interviews that I've done already with people from InfoSec World 2018. Lots of great information there, and they can really give you a better understanding than I could and I can, about the security field. And then stay tuned, because I will be interviewing with Paul from Security Weekly, and then I have 2 more interviews coming out from InfoSec World, one with Clint Gibbler and one with Cody Mercer. So, what's going on, CLI Soldier? So if anybody has any more questions right now, let me know. You passed your dude, that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm very, very happy for you, man. That's a total win right there. It's from labbing every day, right? Value of comp sci degrees in IT. There's value there. There's definitely value. I can't tell you how much value, because it differs, and it really depends on the person that has that comp sci degree. Dowie's Might, you are very, very welcome. Here to help any way that I can. Right? Say hi. Say hi. You want to do patty cake? Since you learned the cap, do patty cake. Patty cake. No, don't hit me in the face, bro. Patty cake. No, don't hit me. Anyway, CLI, congrats, man. That's totally awesome. Very, very happy for you. Passing your CCENT. What's next for you, CLI? I want to know what you are doing next after the CCENT. How about patty cake? No, patty cake. You gotta clap your hands, not clap me. Patty cake. Come on. Do it. Go clap. So yeah, CLI, what's next, bro? What are you doing next? Going to the CCNA? What? What are you doing? ICND 2 in June, then CCNA second. Sweet. Good luck, man. I know you'll be able to pass because you lab every day. Anyways, oh my god, my phone's going off like crazy. Does anybody have any more questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna take this guy and go feed him some lunch. You look super chunky on camera. Yeah, you look super chunky. I know Daddy's chunky too, so it's okay. Do people that go to hacker conventions get all the devices they bring in hacked? I would imagine that happens. It did not happen to me, as far as I know, at InfoSec World. But it could happen. That wasn't necessarily a hacker convention, though. So probably wouldn't really happen there. But if you go to like DEF CON or something like that, I'm sure it could happen. It really depends. I mean, you have a lot of hackers at DEF CON, though. So it might be something that a few people try to do to each other. Maybe people try to do it maliciously. It all depends. And thank you. It's my boy right here. It's IT baby. Huh. Why are you so interested in this? Once you start talking, you can talk into this. Yeah. Say dada. How about that? Say dada. No. No, say dada. How about computer? No. He's not talking today. Anyway, any more questions? Otherwise, I'm leaving. We gotta go. So I'll give you guys like 20 more seconds because I know that there's a delay. And then we're out. Future IT professional in the making. That's absolutely right. I actually got t-shirts made for him and I, and I'm really happy, or really excited. Sorry, really excited to get them because we'll be doing a live stream when we get these t-shirts. They are definitely like the coolest t-shirts that I've ever got, and they kind of match. So again, it's a great stream. You are welcome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. As soon as those shirts come in, I'm so pumped. How's my Python? Python is actually coming along pretty well. I worked on it last night and the night before. it's really funny, man. It's so funny how just starting to do Python with literally no experience, never even seen Python code before. When I started the course, never seen any bits of code before I started doing like the course and learning it. It's just funny how easy it is, and how you learn things from it, you know. And maybe it's just what I'm using to learn the program that makes it really easy, or learn Python, sorry, that makes it easy, or I don't know, maybe it's just really easy. But I used to do PHP like way back in the day. It was like, didn't necessarily write a lot of things in PHP, but I understood enough to kind of get myself in trouble, right? I understood enough about PHP to like make slight modifications and things like that. And PHP to me was freaking confusing, like so stupid, confusing, hated it. And that's really what turned me off about programming and that in general, is just how difficult it seemed to me. And again, that's me. I found it very, very difficult. Didn't like it, so I was like, I'm never programming anything ever. And then I looked into Python, and Python's freaking amazing. So as I'm learning Python, a lot of the ways that they do things kind of reminds me of PHP, right? Because all languages are somewhat similar in their own aspect, you know. But it's like, man, if I would have had a course like this to learn PHP back in the day, I probably would have stuck with it. But yeah, I don't know. Python's awesome. So far, so good. I think now I'm about halfway done with the class, with the course. Sorry. My code rated Python code and save it. You don't want to download the IDE. Yeah, James got you covered on that. So anyway, I think that's all I got for you guys today. If you have any more questions in the future, just shoot me an email, leave a comment on a video. If you guys want me to make a video based on your question, make sure you specify that. Make sure you say, hey Zach, can you make a video about whatever it is that you want me to? That is IT related. I need to make sure that I specify that. Make sure you tell me, make any IT type video. Anyway, too much going on here today, so I can't focus entirely. New video coming out later tonight. More videos coming out the rest of this week. My goal, and don't hold me to this goal, but my goal is to publish a video every single day this week. And that's a real video, not a live stream. I want to publish a new video every day this week. So we'll see what happens. Wish me luck, because I'm definitely going to need it. Right? Right. Anyway, you guys and girls have a fantastic day. Take it easy. Keep learning and do some cool stuff. Goodbye.